Did he mislead the House?
Well, it's quite clear that he had answers which he refused to give. I think that all of that is going to come out in the wash. I think that it was a very embarrassing session for him, deputising for the Prime Minister. And what we're seeing right now is a Prime Minister abroad. The Prime Minister is not here dealing with the situation on ground. The Deputy Prime Minister is spending a lot of time debating whether or not he wore a suit or bought a new suit. This is not serious. This is a distraction from the serious issues about crime in our country, about prisoner releases, and also about the economy, where we know what the Chancellor is going to do in a few weeks' time. That's what they should be focused on.
Do you think that a large and growing majority of the MPs in the Parliamentary Labour Party understand what the prognosis is, i.e. this government is a government without a vision, but it's also failing to deliver on some of the key promises that it did originally make. And I think, things, yes, are really difficult, but actually they need to go faster and further and maybe be a bit more radical. But what they disagree on is how exactly to do that. There are plenty of different groupings within the Labour Party trying to figure that out now. The question is, will Keir Starmer realise that fury, as you say, that lack of vision, in time to turn things around himself, or will it have to be somebody else?
3 hours ago, the political landscape of Britain shifted dramatically. Every major newswire in Westminster lit up simultaneously with a single devastating headline: Prime Minister Keir Starmer has abandoned the UK, spotted at a luxury conference in Brazil while an economic storm ravages his homeland. The man who promised to heal Britain's wounds has vanished at the very moment the crisis he vowed to solve reaches its breaking point. This isn't mere speculation or political gossip. At precisely 9:22 this morning, Downing Street scrambled to release a terse statement confirming the Prime Minister's overseas diplomatic engagement. But the timing tells a darker story. The announcement came mere minutes after the public first learned of mass cabinet unrest and explosive new tax revelations. The result? Panic, anger, and a humiliating sense of betrayal rippling through the corridors of power. What you're about to witness is the Labour Party in unprecedented chaos. Just before midnight last night, the first leaks began surfacing from deep inside the cabinet. Starmer was already en route to Rio de Janeiro, not for an urgent global summit, but for a business leaders gala. The optics couldn't be worse. As the pound plummeted to a 4-year low and pension funds hemorrhaged value, the Prime Minister was jetting off to the tropics. Within minutes of this revelation, opposition MPs seized control of the narrative. Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative Party's most vocal critic, wasted no time launching a blistering assault on national television. Her words at precisely 8:04 a.m. cut through the morning news cycle. How dare the Prime Minister run off to the tropics while British taxpayers suffer a new wave of tax raids in his name? That clip, now viral with nearly 1.2 million views, triggered an immediate chain reaction. Journalists mobbed Treasury officials, demanding answers about unsigned spending pledges and disputed tax figures. Social media erupted. By midday, the Chancellor's office was forced into damage control, denying rumors of yet another stealth tax. But by then, the panic had already metastasized. The morning's market plunge wiped $1.9 billion from British portfolios. One insider described the atmosphere as toxic, bordering on mutiny. Here's what most people don't understand about this crisis. This story isn't just about Starmer's poor judgment or questionable timing. According to leaked reports from inside Labour headquarters, multiple deputy ministers were briefed just hours before the Prime Minister's flight. They were told to shield the news of his trip, whatever it takes. This wasn't an accident, it was damage control executed in real time. One senior advisor was overheard muttering, "If voters see he's left during a meltdown, we're dead." Behind the scenes, MPs already furious about fresh tax hikes and broken pledges that had supposedly been ring-fenced began threatening outright revolt. A new poll released this morning reveals that 62% of British voters feel personally betrayed by Starmer's latest move. Think about what that truly means. Real people like Margaret, a 73-year-old retired nurse in Barnsley, woke up to discover her pension value slashed overnight. Business owners in Liverpool are being forced to lay off loyal staff as investor confidence collapses in the wake of the government's U-turn. These aren't abstract political debates happening in Westminster bubbles. These are British livelihoods being shattered in real time. Here's where the story takes an even darker turn. While the official Labour press team scrambles to assemble coherent talking points, leaked audio from backbench WhatsApp groups reveals growing talk of a vote of no confidence against Starmer himself. According to Westminster insiders who spoke on condition of anonymity, several senior MPs privately warned colleagues, if he comes back empty-handed, his days are numbered. But it gets worse. Treasury documentation accessed by investigative reporters suggests that not only are tax rises incoming, but they were debated and approved in secret committee, in direct contradiction to previous public promises made during the election campaign. The fallout isn't confined to the corridors of London. Council leaders in Birmingham and Manchester are now openly questioning whether Starmer's government will even survive the financial quarter. In a parallel disaster unfolding across the country, key trade unions, once the Labour Party's firmest base of support, are now threatening nationwide. Walkouts over what one union representative called a betrayal of working people, with global investors fleeing British assets in droves. The pound's collapse has already begun impacting everyday costs, from bread to petrol, from utilities to rent. But it gets worse. With Starmer AWOL and his deputies caught in their own political crossfire, the party's unity has completely snapped. One close party source confessed off the record, the discipline's gone. Rebellion is in the air. At precisely 11:06 a.m., a fresh voice entered the blast zone. GB News released damning footage of senior Labour figures admitting for the first time on record that there is now no clear vision at the top. The on-air debate was raw and unfiltered. One Labour strategist, looking visibly shaken on camera, summed it up bluntly. We're no longer sure who's in control. Meanwhile, public anger is morphing into outright fear. Real-world impacts intensify by the hour. Mortgage rates ticking upward, sterling's drop forcing sudden price hikes on essentials, small businesses freezing all new hiring. As these economic pressures escalate, critics warn that Starmer's absence isn't just a political blunder, it's a powder keg threatening both his rule and Britain's economic stability. But here's the bombshell that could finish him. According to high-level leaks obtained within the hour, Starmer's own cabinet is now preparing a formal letter of no confidence to be delivered the moment he lands at Heathrow Airport. Key signatories reportedly include ministers who just days ago defended him publicly on television. Their message is devastatingly simple. He's lost the party, and he's lost the country. If you think this scandal can't possibly get any worse, the next chapter will expose the secret pacts, the hidden deals, and the tidal wave of damaging evidence that could see Starmer's political career end not with a bang, but with a brutal, silent knife in the back. Midnight tonight. Heathrow's private terminal. Security tighter than usual. Cabinet drivers clustered anxiously outside. The Prime Minister's return shrouded in secrecy and foreboding. But as Starmer quietly prepares to land on British soil, a very different scene is unfolding in the corridors of Westminster, where a dossier thicker than any briefcase is about to detonate his already unsteady premiership. Here's the bombshell most voters haven't seen yet. According to sources embedded deep within Labour's inner sanctum, leaked emails between the Chancellor's office and cabinet officials confirm that not only were new tax rises agreed upon in complete secrecy, but some proposals specifically targeted middle-income families, breaking every single pledge made on the campaign trail. The language inside these emails is explosive. One advisor warns in writing, if this gets out, it's electoral suicide. Still emboldened by the Prime Minister's absence, a block of senior MPs have now signed their names to a no-confidence petition. The final count as of 11:33 p.m. 19 key signatures, including figures once positioned as Starmer's closest loyalists. One Labour backbencher texted colleagues, "Party discipline finished." There's another layer to this crisis that few are aware of. Late last night, in a leak confirmed by two separate newsrooms, a secret meeting took place between rebel MPs and senior officials from Britain's largest trade union. The topic wasn't just dissatisfaction, it was overthrow. Operation Reset, they called it. The plan, an immediate leadership challenge if Starmer fails to assert control within 72 hours of his return. One union official, overheard as he left the clandestine meeting, declared ominously, "The working people of Britain deserve better than this frightened silence." Meanwhile, Kemi Badenoch has ramped up her political assault, calling Starmer's hidden tax hikes a betrayal written in small print and demanding a full public inquiry into every penny of shadow spending. Her viral statement, looped and shared across every major media outlet, has set the public mood ablaze. According to a Snap YouGov poll released just as markets closed, 68% of respondents say they now distrust Starmer's word on taxation, and half of working-class voters say they feel abandoned by the party that once represented them. But here's where the situation takes an absolutely unprecedented turn. Early this morning, financial analysts at the Royal Bank of Scotland revealed a previously undisclosed Black Wednesday scenario draft that has been circulating across city trading floors since 5:18 a.m. The worst-case outcome, they warn, could see British pension funds hemorrhage as much as $2.7 billion if confidence isn't restored within the next 48 hours. Mortgage rates, already rising, could spike even higher by Monday morning. This isn't just a Westminster story anymore. It's already hitting ordinary Britons like a sledgehammer. Small business owners in Leeds report suppliers demanding cash upfront for the first time in years, as sterling's instability rattles confidence from top to bottom. For families nationwide, the consequences are immediate and devastating. Petrol prices surge, local shopkeepers warn of rationing, and pensioners like Margaret, whose story opened our investigation, wake up to find their life savings shredded. Within the inner halls of Parliament, the panic is now visible to anyone watching closely. According to one minister's aide who spoke to us under strict condition of anonymity, Starmer's team spent most of today locking doors, counting votes, and desperately trying to prevent a live revolt the moment the Prime Minister steps off his plane. But leaks are everywhere. The party's WhatsApp groups hum constantly with rumors of secret briefings and backroom deals. One message, since forwarded to dozens of MPs, claims that the Prime Minister's own deputy has approached opposition figures about forming an interim unity government if Starmer falls. The sense of a party and a country governed by perpetual crisis grows by the hour. Let me tell you something stark. This isn't just a Labour problem anymore, it's a national risk. According to the London School of Economics' latest economic models, the pound's freefall could, if left unchecked, raise the average household's annual costs by $1,000 or more. Mortgage lenders are warning of default rates not seen since the 2008 financial crash. And in homes up and down the country, the British public, fed up with broken promises, secret taxes, and absentee leadership, are reaching their boiling point. So what happens next? Within 48 hours, Westminster insiders tell us Keir Starmer faces the gravest threat to any British leader since the 2008 economic meltdown. His cabinet may split apart. An open letter of no confidence could land on his desk before dawn, while rebel MPs and angry union bosses circle like vultures waiting for their moment. Financial markets are bracing for another day of turmoil. And if the Prime Minister falters, or if just a handful of MPs cross the aisle, a full-blown constitutional crisis of survival awaits. The question now is not whether Starmer can hang on, but how soon Britain sees the first daylight of a new political era. The next 48 hours will determine not just one man's career, but the future direction of an entire nation. Tomorrow could bring the most shocking developments yet. Secret deals exposed, political careers ended, and a government crashing down in real time.